Hello everyone, we're back with pattern number 2. The attacking pattern number 2. It's something we've seen in attacking pattern number 1. This attacking pattern usually leads to attacking pattern number 2. But it's more universal because it occurs in a lot of attacking positions, while the attacking pattern number 1, which we looked at, it occurs usually in basically only in the Grand Prix, of course in other fianchetto positions, but mostly in the Grand Prix. Okay, so what's the point of this pattern? What is it actually? The pattern is simply to move your queen from d1 to e1, then to g3 or h4. That's it. This is the attacking pattern. I included the kings, of course. Of course, the black king needs to be on the king side. Otherwise, the pattern doesn't make sense. And the rook can be on f8 or it cannot be, but I just included it to show that black is castled. And the pawns actually for black can be anywhere, but usually they're starting formations. And also for white, the pawns can be anywhere, but I just included them to make it clear that, well, the pawns are there. So basically, this is just a maneuver. So that's what you need to know. So let's go forward with the most important thing to remember. The most important thing to remember is to attack. You can see it on the right side there. A bit small, the font, but yeah, that's it. Just attack. That's the most important consideration. This pattern doesn't really work if you're not attacking. Well, it could be a nice way to reposition the queen, but yeah, you need to attack. And let's see how the pattern plays out. So the queen from d1, let's see it. Whoop. Goes to e1, and let's say a random move by black, and the queen comes to g3 and sometimes to h4. I'm not sure which is more frequent. Both are very playable and very aggressive. Queen g3 is associated more so with bishop h6 ideas when the king is on g8 to try to attack the king, while queen h4 is more associated with knight g5 ideas, for example, which do occur in the Grand Prix, which we looked at previously as well. Alright, so let's take a look at sample game number 1. And I realize now I need to insert some empty chapters so that the titles I have here will be visible. So let me just do that, guys. Sorry for that. Okay, so sample game. And you guys weren't able to see how the pattern plays out as a title. Alright, now you can. Alright, and sample game number 1. Alright, so let's go through this sample game numero 1. So, we got e4, c5. Okay. Also the Grand Prix, incidentally. And we got queen e1. This is a game, by the way, by Anand, so take note, guys. Very nice maneuver here to get the knight into the aggressive g5 formation. And yeah, white just picks up the central pawns, and now this is the classic pawn sacrifice, but usually it's never taken. And here we just have knight g5. And a nice way to finish off after you take, of course, bishop takes, and this leads to almost mate, or at least heavy loss of material. So black tried to trade off the bishop, but that does very little because you have this imprisoned bishop. And this is actually a pattern you can see in the book, this imprisoned bishop here with the pawn f6. Anyway, so just going through this quickly because this isn't the point of these videos. Just want to show you the patterns, and here a nice fork ends the game. Let's move on to the next chapter, sample game number 2. I think this line I shouldn't have included. Yeah. So let me get this removed. Okay. So we get the normal Sicilian, again a Grand Prix as well, including the Grand Prix here. This classic sacrifice, this time it's taken. But of course you can't be that greedy because you just open up for the rook and all of that good stuff. But black was this greedy and they got punished for it. Now actually I think black isn't losing just yet, but soon enough this will be the case. So we got some trades, and black seems to be holding on for the moment, but now comes rook f6. This is a game, by the way, by Fabiano. Amazing player. Wow. Just you guys have seen my articles about Fabiano and Lichess, so yeah, just an amazing player. Look at this sacrifice. Rook f6 reminds you of rook f6. The rook f6 moves Alyechin used to play. And we got a rook lift, which is of course a pattern we are well familiar with. And this is GG, because the queen has to give itself up, or else queen g7 would be mate, and this is covered, so the only way out is this, and of course then this is losing. So very nice by Fabian. Okay, so here we have two tests actually for this pattern. So let's go through the opening quickly again. And again this pawn sacrifice. This time it's defended like 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4. And still it doesn't work. And this is a very nice pawn sacrifice actually found by Najer. And here we have knight c6. So first test, what do you play in this position? Pause the video and try to find the move. Alright, you guys, hopefully you paused the video. So what do you play? Let's check out the full game. Should be obvious to you, of course. Simply queen g3. This is the point of the pattern. You go from here to here. So this time you just go from here to here. If someone played queen f4, I mean, I guess it's still fine actually. White, like, because even if you played queen g5, which trades queens, which is inexplicable because you're the one attacking, that's still actually slightly better for white due to the bishop pair, even though this bishop is a bit stupid. But yeah, note of course that black would just capture, so which is what happened in the game. Of course, you just capture the knight you have lost. So yeah, even if you've played here queen f4 or queen e4 or queen g5 or whatever, still fine, but of course the move is just queen g3. So let's take a look at the game. Just for completeness sake, I'll go through this very quickly. If you can't keep up, you can just follow the game. On Lichess, I always include the links in the description. So here white obviously had a big advantage, but they ended up losing due to Shekos Ematos, due to not being able to coordinate the queen well, due to just being outplayed. Alright, test number 2. So we have this again. Now this is Grand Prix, yeah, but this is basically also kind of Grand Prix, the Grand Prix. Again, the f5 sacrifice. And now the question is, what should... sorry. f5 was played in the game. Is it, was it a good move? Yes, no, maybe. So, was f5 a good move? And guys, don't look at the results. I remove them in future videos, but like we've seen the way Najer played, Najer was just better, or Nair was just better, I noticed you can't see the the names of the players. Okay, so the previous game was Nair. Actually, I can just, yeah. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier, but here you go. So let's make the board a bit smaller. All right. So, yeah, don't take a look at the result. Obviously, the previous game, Nair had a very good position, but they ended up losing. So, was f5 a good move? Yes, no, maybe. Pause the video and try to find out. Okay, so let's go through this full game. Turns out that f5 actually wasn't the greatest move. The best move was simply queen h4, or one of the best moves. The engine at some depths gives this weird rook b1, which is either a very genius prophylactic move or just some engine silliness. So actually queen h4 is the best move, and we'll go through this game for completeness sake. Again, if you can't really keep up, and I mean I'm going through this very quickly, so that's only natural. Again, you can check it out on Lichess. And here, yeah, white is just down a piece, and black is able to even trade the last piece. And here there are like all of these threats if you don't trade, so if you take on a7, so this is just losing. Alright, so that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you got something out of it, and yeah, try to remember this pattern. With that, take care, guys, and au revoir.